for people in the back, animation is a medium, not a genre.
Yes. Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Becca, and we're talking about movies like we know stuff.
Hello, everyone. We just saw Hoppers, the latest film from Pixar Animation Studios. We are going to give you guys our summary of the movie, and then we're going to give you some spoiler-free thoughts, and then we'll follow it with some spoiler thoughts.
The juicy thoughts.
The juicy thoughts. So stick around for the whole thing if you can. And if you don't want to, just watching through the spoiler-free section is very helpful to us. So Becca, kick us off. What was the summary of the movie?
Sure. So the summary of this movie, it centers on a college freshman named Mabel, who has been very passionate about the environment and specifically animals her entire life, and a lot of that ties to her relationship with her grandmother. So her grandmother's house was near this beautiful glen full of all, these deer and beavers and fish, and it's just somewhere she would go spend time with her grandmother. And more importantly, it's where she learned to kind of channel her rage about animal activism into just being at peace with nature. It's a place that she found peace. She found peace with her grandmother.
It was her happy place.
It was her happy place. So you meet Mabel as a child in the beginning of the film, and then flash forward, she's in college. Her grandmother has passed on, and this beautiful glen near her grandmother's home is being threatened because a politician wants to build a highway over it. So obviously, Mabel is furious and her activism is activated, and she goes to her college professor for help, who's a scientist, and finds out that her professor is running what they reference as an avatar-like experiment, where she's figured out how to put human consciousness into a robot. And she's designed these robots to look like animals. So Mabel essentially hijacks one of the beaver robots in the hope that she can convince these animals to come back to this glen so the city can't build a highway over it, because they're only building it under the claim that it's not habitated, so we're not harming any animals or the environment by doing this. And this is something that I learned in the movie, is that apparently an environment like this needs a resident beaver. They mentioned that in the movie, is that they have to build a dam, and they're the center of a...
They're definitely a crucial part of it, for sure.
They're a more crucial part of animal society than I expected. So Mabel's trying to find other beavers to come and move back into this glen so all the animals follow. And obviously, lots of things go wrong.
Hijinks ensue.
Very funny things go wrong, and I don't want to give anything else away because that is definitely jumping into spoiler territory.
Yeah, no, that was a good summary. So high level, I really enjoyed this movie. I think this was another really good show from Pixar.
I really loved it.
Yeah, it was a good one. Definitely one we'll be watching again for sure.
I was so not looking forward to this movie, even though the Rotten Tomatoes scores have been good, because honestly, I didn't think the previews looked that good. I told you multiple times, I will go see it, but I'm not excited. I'm not drawn in.
The trailer does not sell it well. It's another one of the issues where the trailer is not selling this movie at all.
Not at all. It doesn't. This movie's hilarious.
It's really funny.
It's so funny, and nothing in the trailer is funny.
Or they show one mediocrely or funny instance. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate they didn't give it away, but they also didn't make me want to see it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that was a little bit of a drawback, is that the trailer is a little bit of a travesty in my opinion.
Yeah.
So this is a great movie. Again, fantastic animation by Pixar. The story, I think, was not their best story overall, but it was still a very strong story. And the story is great because it does what Pixar, I think, does best, which is they blend kind of a message along with making it fun to kind of experience the message. And the message here in this movie is basically that humans are part of the animal kingdom, and so humans and animals need to live in harmony. And that's the message. And it doesn't come across as preachy. It doesn't come across as beating people over the head like you're being too mean to animals. It's just that, hey, we are stewards of the animal kingdom and we need to take care of them, and they also help take care of us. Maybe not necessarily as directly as they do in Hoppers, but they do, animals do take care of humans in certain ways as well.
Right, that we all have a role. And I really appreciate that this movie doesn't, in typical good Pixar fashion, also very good Hayao Miyazaki fashion. I feel like Miyazaki would like this movie if it was a little slower paced, but I think he would like the message.
Sure.
And nothing is black and white. Even the villains aren't black and white.
Yes.
And when Mabel enters the animal kingdom as a beaver and they think she's a beaver, they aren't all like nice and hanging out. Like sometimes she's just talking to a bug and a bird will come down and just eat it.
Yeah, right.
And even the animals are like, yeah, sometimes we eat each other.
Yep.
They're just like, this is very matter of fact.
It's just how it is, yeah.
It's not like all they just all hang out and like nibble on tulips and flower beds.
Right.
Like this is real.
There are carnivores in
These are like real animal kingdom rules.
Yes.
But even all the animals don't hate the humans. Some of them do. And others are like, no, like look at the incredible things they do.
Yeah.
There's just, I didn't expect the layers and the depth
Right.
in these characters.
Yes. Again, Pixar being masters at their craft, the imagery and animations are fantastic. Everything is well animated. Everything looks so...
The water's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. And I'm not going to say realistic because it is a stylized cartoon, but things like the animal fur looks like plushy fur on some of the animals. Like it looks like that artificial like high curl fur.
And the humans look so much better. Like we've come so far from Incredibles 1, right?
Right.
Where like, the mayor of the town has wrinkles around his eyes.
Yes, right.
But they look real. Like it's just, the humans look so much
Yes. No, it's a great movie from Pixar. 2 thumbs up for me for sure.
better. I think the last thing I want to say in terms of spoiler-free thoughts is that I feel like compared to the last Pixar movie we saw, Elio, which we did enjoy, this was so much more focused.
Yes.
I feel like the making of this movie must have been a much more harmonious process because even though the movie could touch on being sentimental and exciting and funny, it all felt like it was going in the right direction.
All pulling towards the same direction of the story. Yeah.
And this is the kind of Pixar storytelling that I was missing. That when Pixar is at its best, like they excel in the ordinary. They excel in just bringing you to the reality and those like everyday, like boring moments that make up our life. And I feel like despite the wackiness of this movie, it still does that. It still feels very relatable that Pixar now is feeling a little bit more relatable. That maybe, and I hope, I'm feeling very hopeful after this movie that we're moving out of the Disney Plus era quality of Pixar movies.
Yeah, I hope so.
Where they were fine but forgettable.
For sure.
And this does not fall into that category.
No, this one is definitely a memorable star listing from Pixar, for sure. So, all right, that concludes our spoiler-free section. For those of you who are going to leave because you don't want spoilers, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe before you leave. It really helps out our channel. Make sure you follow us on X. All the links are in the description below. And we'll see you in a second for spoilers. All right, we're back. We're gonna get into spoilers for Hoppers. So you have received your final warning. Spoilers ahead. Becca, give us some spoilery opinions on this movie.
So I have lots of spoilery opinions, but I don't have as many cons.
Okay, let's start with the cons
this
then.
movie a lot.
Yeah, I did too. Let's start with the cons then.
I actually thought of one non-Hoppers related con that I'm gonna throw out there.
A non-Hoppers related con. Okay,
Yeah.
hit me with it.
R.I.P. death of Pixar shorts.
Yeah.
Where's my Pixar short?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I did miss
Since
the Pixar
like
shorts.
Lasseter, got ousted from the company, no more Pixar shorts.
Yeah, that's true.
Our dog is named after a Pixar short.
That's true.
We love Pixar shorts
Love
in this
Pixar
house.
shorts. Yeah.
I want them back.
Where's my bonus animation?
Bring them back. Bring me back my bonus movie with like the heart-wrenching ending.
Pixar shorts are a riot.
But back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
I was wavering on this point.
Okay.
Part of me wishes that the death of Mabel's grandmother would have been more impactful to the story. I feel like it was setting it up that it was going to be this up montage of Mabel losing her guiding light, her mentor, and it was going to be a source of pain and sadness. But on the other hand, I was remembering that some of my favorite Pixar movies aren't tearjerkers. Like, I love Ratatouille. Nobody cries during Ratatouille.
That's true.
But I think because some of their really popular films have had those tearjerker moments, like Finding Nemo and Up and Monsters, Inc., that they have been associated with crying.
Yeah.
And some people consider a Pixar film not good if you don't cry. And I don't think that's fair.
It's true. They do have that reputation. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought this point up because I'll maybe help you with your unsure of...
My vacillating.
You're vacillating, exactly. Is I go into a Pixar movie now pretty much expecting that someone is going to die traumatically because, again, they're just so well known for it. And again, it doesn't mean that a Pixar movie is good or bad if it is a tear-jerking moment when some relative or close friend passes away in a Pixar movie. That's not what makes a Pixar movie good. There's so much more to it. And so the plot point is important. I'm not trying to downplay the death of her grandma, but I'm kind of glad that I'm going to use a bad term for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm glad that they kind of glossed over it a little bit and it wasn't this big, dramatic, emotional moment in the movie. So that's my
opinion. She couldn't function without her grandma.
Exactly. And it wasn't this big tears rolling down her face, long sobbing moment with the somber piano. No, yeah, exactly.
It's not a story about grief.
It's not a grief story, exactly. There's a time and place for grief. Pixar obviously does grief very well, but this is not that movie, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I really am.
And that's fair.
It's a great point.
That's fair. But I think that does show how ingrained I am.
Sure.
That there are so many other YouTube videos about how Pixar effectively makes you cry. I think Sideways did a great video on that where he said they're masters in music because they use the same motifs to play during happy and sad moments. And because that music was known for playing in a happy moment, it makes the sad moment sadder when it returns.
Yes.
It makes it more bittersweet.
Correct, because it calls back to that memory. Yeah, absolutely.
I am definitely ingrained in the Pixar should make me cry camp.
It's hard to get out of.
It's hard to get out of.
Yeah, it really is.
But speaking of music, the music is not that memorable.
I would agree with that.
It's not good. It is good. When we left the theater, when the score was playing during the credits, we were like, oh, we should maybe listen to this again. But it was never memorable during the movie. There was not a recurring motif of friendship or hope. And if there was, I could not hum it.
We missed it. Yeah,
we missed it.
For sure. Yeah, there wasn't.
It wasn't essential that I feel like Pixar, a good Pixar score usually is. Yeah,
they usually have a hook or a motif for characters that help associate with moments during the movie, and there wasn't any of that in this. Again, music's not bad, but it's just not the Pixar level that we have kind of come to expect.
Exactly.
Yeah. On the other side, though, is the animation. This is top-tier Pixar animation. Everything is beautiful and well animated, and everything looks, again, I don't want to say necessarily realistic because, again, it's an animated movie, so there's some realism that can be thrown aside because of the nature of the style of the movie.
The environments are amazing, and
Exactly.
I think I'd already mentioned that I think the humans looked a lot better.
They do.
That they've come so far from the earliest...
the Toy Story days.
But even The Incredibles, which is a lot better than the first Toy Story movies.
That's very true.
But I still feel like there's room for the humans to be a little more unique. And I think that is something that you were mentioning.
The point that I kind of have on that is this movie still has the bean mouth style that Pixar is starting to, I don't know if it's experiment or adopt. Probably adopt is the appropriate word. So in Elio, it was very bean mouth, where the mouth is in the shape of a kidney bean all the time. Hoppers has that as well. Obviously the animals being a little less bean mouthy, but the humans still have a little bit of bean mouth going on. So I'm not a particular fan of that style. It doesn't turn me off, but it is noticeable as a style. And so that was kind of a little bit of a drawback for me in this movie.
Yeah, I think something that I'm missing from the 2D animated days is that, especially in the Disney Renaissance, a lot of the movies still had a unique style. Now, some of them did look like they could be in the same world.
Right.
But Mulan, the characters were much more angular in Mulan and the environments than they were in Beauty and the Beast. And in Lilo and Stitch, everything was round and friendly and more cartoonish, and the backgrounds were the pastel watercolors that they're known for. And there was just more of a unique flavor and style to the look. And I just don't think computer animation has figured out how to get there yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They've been mastering humans for so long, for so well, that everything still looks like Frozen.
Yes, agreed. And I will say a pro on their animation is that the fur on Mabel's beaver robot looks very realistic. There's a couple of close-ups of the beaver fur, and it looks like a plushy fur. A plushy short fur, and I was just like, wow, there's you can see individual strands of thread in this fur.
That's a job for one of those computer animators. And that is.
Yeah, it is.
That they're just dedicated to hair texture.
Yeah, right, I know. Yeah, and they did a great job, I think, on this. Things looked, again, realistic to the point of it's an animation, but realistic in that regard. So I give them
again,
props for that.
Even more details on the humans, like the handsome mayor had wrinkles around his eyes.
Yeah, no, that was a good
Showing that
pickup.
he's not like a youthful guy. He's probably in his like 50s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's great. The computer animation has come so far, and it's just mind-blowing sometimes when you see it.
So I think we can probably move into pros, which is going to be a much longer and more fun list.
Agreed. So, well, let's bridge the pros with the cons because I want to talk about references here.
Yeah.
So let me start off with a con reference. Longtime viewers of the channel will know there's a Vine out there. And the punchline of the Vine is, and they were roommates. And I do not find this Vine funny at all.
But apparently everybody at Disney and Pixar still thinks it's great.
Everyone thinks it's funny. This Vine has to be like 10 to 20 years old.
Zootopia 2 thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I first saw the Vine, I exhaled slightly more out of my nose.
Yeah.
But apparently it makes it into all of the funny Vine compilations. I don't get the joke. I showed it to you. Did you think that joke was that funny?
It was okay.
Yeah, it's amusing, but like...
I mean, did the mysterious internet algorithm decide it's great again? I haven't seen it hyped.
I haven't seen it hyped again either, but oh my goodness, when they made that reference, I was like, what are we doing? Why does this joke keep coming back? Stop it.
Because some of the references are a lot more current and
Yes.
very funny
And
and
very
flying over the heads of children.
Yes.
Like flap around and find out.
Yeah,
like,
flap around and find out.
I liked that one.
That was a good
lot.
one. Yeah. Again, a nice adult humor joke, which there's not a lot of in this movie, but I still appreciate the one, maybe two that were in here where it's like, that was a joke for the adults alone, and that was.
Oh, for sure. I think my favorite, the kids won't get this joke, is the evil highway that the mayor is building. He reveals in a meeting that the highway's only going to save 4 minutes of commute time.
Right,
So
yeah.
all these animal habitats are going to get destroyed for a 5-minute shortcut.
Right, exactly.
It's not even very helpful infrastructure.
No, it really
it's just
isn't.
infrastructure.
Right, no.
And I think it's even in a promo, he says, we're going to connect Beavertown to Beavertown, like
Right.
to itself.
Yeah, to itself, right, exactly. Oh man, yeah, such good humor in this movie, and I think it was really well written. Again, Pixar has come back in the sense that they have written a story that is great for children and also good for adults. It blends that age gap so well, and that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. There are plenty of movies out there that are clearly children's movie, and the adults just go just because the children can't go to see the movie by themselves.
I mean, to be fair, we saw a preview for a story version of, like an animated movie version of The Pout Pout Fish, which is a book we read to our
children's book.
1-year-old.
Yeah, right.
And we were like, oh wow, like,
wow.
we would take him to this,
But I don't have any desire to see it.
but I would never see this on my own.
Exactly. So great writing by Pixar. And again, other than like flock around, find out, the humor.
You mean flap around?
Oh, yeah, flap around. Yeah. Flock would probably have been a little closer and a little more dangerous to pull off, but flap around, find out is much safer. Other than that joke being like edgy adult humor that kids won't get, the rest of the humor is very universal in age. There's a little bit of slapstick and stuff like that, but it doesn't like devolve into like poop and fart jokes, which again, don't get me wrong, I love me a good poop and fart joke, but there's a certain level to where it's just devolves into like pure children comedy, and Pixar holds back and still brings in genuinely funny things that adults should and will laugh at because it's just genuinely funny no matter what age you are.
And yeah, Pixar at its best, that's what they do, is I feel like they are holding to Walt Disney's golden standards, which was to not make movies for children, but to just make good movies.
Make good movies, yeah.
And if you make good movies, you can reach a huge range of audiences because for people in the back, animation is a medium, not a genre.
Yes,
Correct. You should not show your 5-year-old the animated version of Watership Down, okay? That is not for children.
Yeah.
Because it's drawn doesn't mean it's for children.
Right.
But great Pixar movies are for everybody
Every
because
age.
they're just great stories
Yes.
that happen to be animated.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And like you said, this movie was genuinely funny that I just kept imagining that the people in the storyboard room with the sketches of the story beats, they had to be peeing their pants.
Oh yeah, laughing out loud
Saying
the whole
like,
time.
oh, and then all these birds are gonna pull a shark out of the
water.
ocean,
Right,
and they're gonna chase the mayor in his car. Like, incredible.
So good, so funny. Yeah, the story is just top tier writing on this. Another thing I want to say about the story is, again, top tier Pixar writing in that this movie doesn't This movie subverts the stereotypical bad guy. The mayor in this movie is clearly set up to be the bad guy. And then halfway through, when Mabel rallies the animal kingdom to fight back against the humans, you suddenly realize that the caterpillar / young butterfly is the true bad guy in this movie. And the mayor actually has a good side to him. And there's a little bit of a good in everybody in this movie. And that's a really cool lesson and really good writing that you never really knew who the bad guy was coming into this movie.
Right, and that's Pixar at its best, is that it subverts your expectations, that the best Pixar movies completely do almost a 180 on what you think the story is going to be about. Is that Monsters, Inc. is about parenthood. Nobody would get that from the trailer. And Toy Story is about us worrying about becoming obsolete and the newer, younger generation replacing us. And that's what is so amazing about this film, that I feel like if this film had been made like 5 years ago with a different team of writers, all the humans would be bad except for Mabel, and all the animals would be good. And I feel like Hayao Miyazaki would love this movie if it was a little bit more slow-paced, because it just shows that there's different sides to everybody, and even all the animals don't hate the humans. Some of them admire them and say, no, look what they can create too. So this movie isn't just about saving the environment and the animals. It's about, frankly,
like being good stewards of the environment.
Right, it's about how we all need to live in harmony, and every species needs to appreciate our place in the, it sounds so corny, but the circle of life. That it's a little Princess Mononoke-ish, where this has a very similar gut punch ending, is that it's not about good versus evil necessarily, and that there's more layers to both sides of the coin than people realize.
Yes. Pixar nails it in that this movie very easily could have been an environmentalist preachy movie, and it doesn't come off that way at all. And quite frankly, I don't even think it really is an environmentalist preachy movie. It's just sending the message that humans and animals exist on the same planet, and we need to take care of the animals, and animals do truly in turn take care of us. And there's a balance to that, and there's a stewardship and a cooperation that needs to happen.
And that you can't put the genie back in the bottle on technology and how things have evolved, but we can still be more conscious of our decisions.
And of its impact.
And I feel like I respect Mabel as a character so much more, because she really does get literally down in the dirt to fight for what she believes in.
Right.
She's not a keyboard warrior.
Yes.
She's not some kid who's never experienced real life, who's preaching about her moral code on the internet, who's never left her house. That she fights for what she believes in. She has her eyes opened that the world isn't as black and white as she thought.
Yes, great point. Great point.
And that just makes me really stand behind her as a character.
Yeah. So one more thing that I really like about Pixar movies, this isn't just about hoppers, although the point is about hoppers, but it does span across all Pixar's movies, is that I love that Pixar tries to reference their other movies in their movies. So, you'll find the Pixar
the Easter
ball.
eggs are everywhere.
Yeah, you'll find the Pixar ball somewhere, or you'll find like a Woody or a Jessie doll lying around or something like that. And one of the really cool and most obvious, I think, references in this one, or two most obvious references in this one, is the first one is there's a turtle in a children's classroom, and there's a little sticky note underneath it, or a piece of paper taped onto it, and it says, "My name is Crush."
Yeah.
Referencing Nemo, which is super
So cute.
Super cute. And then the other one, which is super obvious, happens at the end of the movie when the university that Mabel is going to, her professor's research for hopping gets shut down. Mabel goes, "Oh no, I'm so sorry about that." She goes, "Oh, that's no big deal. Now I get to work on some of my other really exciting ideas." And she pulls a cloth off of a chalkboard, and right in the center of it is a reference to the human English-speaking dog collar that is used in Up for the dogs, which is really cool. And just another really cool tie that just kind of shows that Pixar does really truly try to tie all of their movies together into the same universe, which is really cool.
And you know the Pixar theory.
Right, I do, yeah.
So certainly some other geek other than us is sitting down right now and trying to figure out where Hoppers fits into the universe.
Yes.
Because they're all connected.
Yes, exactly.
And it'll be fun for somebody else to figure out where it exists.
Yeah, not us, but somebody else,
but
absolutely.
It just speaks to how clever Pixar is. And
it is.
Speaking of clever,
yes,
I want to talk about how some of the visuals are very, very clever. And something that I loved is that the animals' eyes would change based on the perspective of the story. So whenever Mabel was, hopped into like that beaver robot and she was talking to the other animals, they could understand each other. She had human eyes. But when the humans were looking at the animals, and they obviously don't speak, rabbit and fish, they had like the black soulless animal eyes.
I didn't notice that. That's a really good call out. Wow, you're more observant than I am. That's awesome.
Like even with the shark, remember?
Yeah.
When they pull out the shark and the shark goes, "I'm Deb," and she has the, the big expressive eyes.
Glowy human eyes, basically.
But then from the mayor's perspective, whenever the shark is, carried away, they turn back into the soulless, like black Jaws eyes.
Yeah, I noticed that on Deb, but I didn't put like 2 and 2 together. That's a really good pickup. That's really smart. I like that.
And that's just, again, it goes back to that clever Pixar writing that even in their visuals, they put in those little nods that when Mabel's trying to talk to her professor when she's first thrown into the robot, all she can say to her is like,
yeah, she just squeaks, yeah.
Speak animal.
Right, yeah, she's just squeaking like a beaver, basically.
And also, I think we both noticed this whenever the mayor ended up hopping into a beaver robot, and once you look at him talking to the other animals, the beaver robot suddenly has that coiffed swoosh of hair.
Yeah, the same hairstyle as him. He gets this he grows a bunch of extra hair and it's swooshed like he is whenever he's the mayor. It's pretty funny. It's a cool clarification technique that it's not Mabel, it's the mayor, but still it's also really funny that he gets the little hair swoosh as well.
Yeah, it just...
So many good details in this movie.
I just feel like Pixar is finally back. And even though I feel like on average today, I think Sony Animation is still the best animation studio right now. But this gives me hope that Pixar is going to come back because they excel in making ordinary stories just so relatable and using these extreme and wacky scenarios to bring you back to issues and thoughts and feelings that we're having in our day-to-day lives. And that's what this movie does for me.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that Sony Animation still holds the crown, but this is a strong punch from Pixar. Strong punch. So
it was just so nostalgic for me to not just enjoy a Pixar movie, but even seeing it during the day, because I would always see the matinees during the day with my grandma as a little girl, and it just feels like being a kid again, seeing a matinee Pixar movie, being excited about it, wanting to talk about it, throwing on the music in the car. It would just be so great if we could go back to those days.
Yeah.
Have a renaissance of Pixar.
For sure. That would be fantastic.
I would love to exit this acceptable Disney Plus era of releases that we have had since COVID.
Yes, that would be very nice, for sure.
So do we want to go into rankings?
Yeah, let's do it. I think you need to go first, though, because I was first last time.
Okay. I'm going to say 8.5.
Okay.
I would say 9.
Okay.
But the lack of memorable music motifs knocks it down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I'm close. I think it's an 8.75. I agree that the music needed to be a little bit stronger, but this is a really, really good Pixar film.
A really pleasant surprise.
Definitely.
Okay, well, if you stuck around this long, you might as well like, comment, subscribe, follow us on X, and please tell us in the comments if you saw this movie, what you thought, and if you didn't, tell us what your current favorite Pixar movie is and why. And if you saw this and now it's your favorite Pixar movie of all time, we would also love to hear your thoughts below. But thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you the next time.
See you guys.
Bye.